Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Leilo nishmat imi merosi ruspas Mordechai. So Gary told myself, Noam, and Avi Kamiansky about this big mazel tov. We got a Sief 46. You live here in Eretz Yisrael. You could, here it is. It's official. It took 4 years. How long did it take? Yeah, so it's four or 5 years. And the first words that came out of Avi Kamiansky's mouth were, I'm giving 25,000 shekel as the first donation. Let's go. Rivka, huh? Sof Shana. Shabbat Zamnot. You can do it on the Doran Plus. Here, Jonathan is waving his credit card. Let's go, Rabbi Sai, sign up. You could do, what is it? I don't even know. You could get a tax. You get a write-off. It's official. Get a write-off. You could do the Chofshi Chotshi. Jonathan, do you have a camera going on Jonathan? He's going right now. You could become a monthly member. You get a tax write-off. You actually could benefit from it in all different ways. I guess Avi knew something. I don't know. He says 25,000. You probably make 50. Who knows how it works there? Wow. It's not part of the Vayichulu. By the way, he was the first. Your son-in-law, Dr. Epstein, your son-in-law, when I spoke about the Shabbaton, he dropped $20,000. It depends. If it's from America, it's in dollars. In Israel, it's in shekel. But it's without soliciting. I really treasure your friendship, Avi. Yishkoyach. Yoeli Halevi doubled. Dear Rebelli, since we have established many times in the past how MDY changed my life, I won't mention it now. I'll move on to an issue that is on my mind for a while, as you mentioned it a few times. This is the famous Yoeli doubled with his beautiful emails. Why many of us know the Shir Shel Yom, don't know the Shir Shel Yom by heart, besides for Sunday and Friday, when we even know some unique Yom Kippur prayers, which we said only once a year. It's true, like a lot of people, they could say over Shemona Esrei of Rosh Hashanah, or things that you say once a year, but things that you say once a week, I at least struggle to remember Baal Peh. In my opinion, it's a heavenly decree that forces us to engage with the Siddur every now and then. For example, when I try to do Kabbalah Shabbos by heart, by the second kapitel, Shirul Hashem, I immediately find myself having taken the wrong exit and end up wandering somewhere in Hoidu or Yichvoid. There's a special gift from Hashem that forces us to use a Siddur. Otherwise, someone wouldn't open up a Siddur between monthly Kiddush Levana and Omar Abaye. It's not an Eli Stefansky issue. Nobody knows the Monday and Thursday Shir Shel Yom Baal Peh. I think you can put the issue to rest. Yoeli and Levi doubled. P.S. A special thank you to A.J. Rothstein and Paul Lowinger for offering me their MDY Zemiris benchers. I still haven't decided which one to call. Yoeli doubled. Yidel, a Satmar Chassid, not from Kiryas Yoel. Dear Rebelli, I join your amazing Shir. By the way, all these Hasidim, they spell Shir, S-H-E-E-R. It's kilo part of. It's not Kriya Siv. It's Siv and Kriya the same exact way. Shir, beginning in Mesechtes Kiddushin. Though I have my daily shir, I fell in love with your shir and daily commitment, daily entertainment. Bringing the daf to life makes the learning so much more gishmak. I enjoy doodling online with my spare time, and when I learned the daf a few days ago, we learned that the bull falls into the pit and falls into the person in the pit. I thought, hey, that would make a great art. So I went online and started generating some images on AI just to see how it works, see attached the results. They're not 100% describing the image. They might come, Kitzer, maybe it'd be a good idea to create a WhatsApp group where you post the required art for the upcoming daf. And anyone who wishes can send in his creations, which save MDY money and give an opportunity. Actually, today, that's basically exactly what I did. I needed a certain picture. Yoshi was running out of time. I said, Dova Canner, I need this picture. If I forget to say it, it's the one with the canister, with the star on it. And within a few minutes, he sent me a beautiful piece. Wishing you much atzlacha with all you do, with much admiration. Yidl Satmar Chassid, not from Kiryas Yoel. So Rabbi Isai, today is Tisha B'Teves. I just want to bring from the Kloisenberger. He says that it's brought down in the Svar, because I don't want it on the screen. Thank you. Oh, so in the Divrei Yatzav, he says that they say that the tzaddikim, they fast on Tisha B'Tevis. Tisha B'Tevis. Why? Because terrible things happen in Tisha B'Tevis. What happened? So you know that Shimon ben Bar Gura, he died on Tisha B'Tevis. He's fighting the Romans. He died. The question is, he's a Rosh Marusha. He killed a lot of Yidden in Yerushalayim. So why are we celebrating? Why are we fasting, mourning his death? He says because even though he's a Rosh Marusha, but Lamaisa, he fought the evil Romans, and for that alone, tzaddikim fast on his tainus, on his yartzeit. So Mela Rabbi say can make a kavachomer ben benoisha kavachomer Yidden that go out to fight the evil. And unfortunately, we had yesterday somebody was nifter from Ramat Shemesh, was killed. We have these are if a Rosh Marusha that fights the enemy, you fast on his yartzeit. So certainly. Heilige Yidden, they go out there and fight for us, and they die. Al Kiddush Hashem. So Allah is Kama. This is a lesson learned on Tisha B'Tevis. What's your name, Tzaddik again? Remind me. Yosef Birnbaum Shalom Aleichem. Not the first time here, maybe the third. Yeah. No, I saw you at least 5 times in life. Oh, I know where you're from. Woodmere. No, we're North Woodmere. Yeah. I could have told you that. I thought it's all the same. I guess it's not. Even in Woodmere, we have different zdadim, different. The place is awesome, by the way. Seriously, if you're considering a new place to live, I loved it. It was unbelievable. I gave a shir there. That's the shul you daven in that shul, or what's the name of the shul? Which one? Kahal B'nai Yeshiva. It's much like over here. Maybe 100. I don't know. Maybe more than 150 people showed up. Brand new shul. All geschmacky Yidden. It was unbelievable. Told my wife, maybe we have to move to North Woodmere if we ever move to America. Oh, Chas v'shalom. Baruch Furman, not Foreman, Furman. Here he is at a wedding and surrounded by friends, but instead of wasting time waiting for the first dance, he learned the daf. He came home for, I don't know, just a few minutes. Eli Rosen, who used to come to the shir every day and he worked for me, he came to Rabbi Shemesh. He was only here for a few minutes. They let him out for a few hours, and we missed each other. He wanted to see. He came over, and I wasn't there. Kitzer. Rabbi Isai, the Masechta is sponsored for the unity of Am Yisrael. Paras HaChodesh leilo nishmat Chaneh bar Elimelech. Paras HaChodesh leilo nishmat Mendel ben Pinchas. Paras HaChodesh. Why are you sitting all the way over there when you could sit over here? Okay. Paras HaChodesh leilo nishmat Mendel ben Pinchas. Paras HaChodesh leilo nishmat Zechariah ben Mosha. And leilo nishmat Chaya bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh Yosef ben Chaya Sara for the zchusim that come from sporting limud HaTorah. Paras HaYom Reuven Epstein in memory of Mosha Epstein. Mosha Yakov ben Rivka on his 50th yartzeit. Paras HaYom brain intact, unleash your full potential. Should be zochem nas kedusha and tremendous success in all my endeavors. Rabbi Isai, we're starting a brand new Mishnah on Daf Amud Beis, and before we start, I have 2 simple questions to ask the Olam. Oh, and if you were here last night, which at least 3-4 of you were, don't answer the answers. Because these are things that when I was learning the sugya, I was wondering, what's the pshat? A woman who's pregnant on the slave market, is she worth more than a woman that's not pregnant? Again, a woman who's pregnant, is she worth more or less or the same than a woman who's not pregnant? You were here last night. How could she be less? You're getting 2 for 1. Huh?
Maybe 2 for 1.
Oh. Were you there last night? Oh. No. We're talking about slaves. Slaves don't kvesh, they don't complain. They're in this. Okay, this one I thought would be very, very simple. For some reason, the Olam struggle with this one. You have a backyard. You have a well in the backyard. You have a bar in the backyard. And as a favor to Klal Yisrael, you give your entire backyard to the Rishus Rabbim so they could expand a little bit. You give it away. But you keep the well for yourself. Somebody falls into the well. Are you chayiv or are you potter? You say potter. Who says chayiv? Anybody? Machloikis. Whoever said machloikis and potter is wrong. That's a typical bar. It's a bar b'shus harabim. You donated the entire, but people struggle with it. It's a bar in the b'shus harabim. You gave all the property around. Okay, fine. Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see. So says the Mishnah. The Heilige Mishnah sponsored by Moshe Cohen. L'schus parnasa berevach, gashmius, ruchnius berevach. Shor shoy miskaven l'chaveiroi v'hiko es ha'isha v'yotzi yilodel. We're starting off right away with a Yoshi special. There's a bull that wants to damage another bull. And the bull that's about to be damaged, he realizes what's happening and he runs away. But the bull that's in the mode and he's full force, his braking power from 0 to 60, takes a few feet and he's not able to stop. Here goes. And he leaves a Vlad on the street. A potato. It's funny. The little baby potato head Nebuch goes five, and you guys can laugh all you want. Look at him. Rabbi should be crying, not laughing. Why should I show it again? Okay, he says show it again. Yosef says show it again. You show it again, because if I don't show it again, he's going to show it 3 more times. Okay, here goes. Okay. What's the halacha? Does the owner of the bull have to pay for the baby? The baby's worth money. Does he have to pay? Not pay. The halacha is you don't pay. Let me ask you a question. What if there's no bull? What if there's no bull in between? A bull decided to go after a woman who's pregnant and she lost her pregnancy. The Mishnah says that if he was going after his friend and he got out of the way, then you potter. What if he goes directly after the bull? You should be chayiv. The answer is potter. So then why does it say such a case? You say a much better case. Gemara discusses. If 2 men were fighting, a woman was walking by, or let's say the wife of one of the guys that's getting beat up real bad, she decides to intervene, and she gets a gazunta punch in the stomach, and the Vlad comes out. A human being has to pay for the loss of the pregnancy. How does it work exactly? This is no different than a lot of things that we had in Gemara. There's nothing to do with women. It's not anti-women. When we have to see how much a person is worth when a bull kills a male, and when he pays koifer, how do we figure out how much you go to the slave market, you see how much is this guy worth? He's a 50-year-old that never works out. His daddy's worth like this. The 20-year-old is worth like, there's a slave, it goes by the slave market. So over here also, actually, how much is a woman worth when she's pregnant? How much is she worth after she's pregnant? The difference, that's how much you pay. In other words, the Mishnah understands that a woman who's pregnant is worth a little bit more. Top of Amud Aleph, the Gemara is going to have to explain this. Basically, what he's saying is it's not true that a woman, when she's not pregnant, is worth more than a woman who's pregnant. Why? Because especially in those days, women would die during childbirth. So if a person is going to the slave market to buy a slave and she's pregnant, now he's concerned, what if she doesn't make it through the birth? Now he lost all his money. Now that she's not pregnant, she's worth even more. So he says, we're going to talk about this in the Gemara and explain what he's saying. But one very important nekuda here is this part of the pasuk. What is going on? This woman is carrying the pregnancy. She's going through the sleepless nights, the tossing, the turning, the doctor appointments, the whole thing, the labor, and then she loses her pregnancy. Comes the husband, he takes all the money. Is that fair? No, it's not fair. But guess what? The Torah says that's how it works. The husband is entitled to this. And we're going to see a very interesting in the Gemara. It's not because there's some value here, no value, and the husband is entitled to the value. It's a gift that Hashem gives the husband. And if there's no husband, the Gemara wants a taina, then there's nobody gets money. Not even the woman. Nobody. And what if, this seems really mean, if there's no husband, not only does she not get the money, her husband, who's no longer alive, his kids get it. So this is also super important, because when you read it, as is, it seems like the emphasis is on the fact that we're talking about a shifcha, a slave. and she was redeemed. So now she's Chaya b'mitzvahs. Or a Giyaris. But that's not the point. It has zero to do with what we're talking about. The point is that she's married to a ger. She's married to an Eved that was Meshuchar. What's the point? The Nekuda is that we have a woman who's married to a man who doesn't have a Yarish. He has no children. He just got married to her. He never had children before. And this is his and he's no longer alive. He's gone. So if he's gone, he's entitled to the money, but he's dead. So the guy that causes the damage doesn't have to pay. We had this before. And Rashi says, interesting, I'll remind you what I said then, that Rashi says that it's normal for a ger to marry a giyaris. That's why he talks about a giyaris. It's normal for a shivcha that was mishtacher to marry people like them. Like, people should try to stay within their same people with the same mentality, the same background, that kind of thing. Now that's his Rashi, from the fact that she just was freed, so l'chayra, they never had children, her husband never had children somewhere else or whatever. And therefore, the guy that causes the damage is Potter. If anybody has that name of that organization, I just got an email yesterday. I mentioned about the organization that puts together the Hasidic men with the Litvish women, and they did, I don't know, so we got a bunch of emails already. Like, what's the name of the organization? I know people that need this organization. What is it called? Hot cold. Hot and cold. Caught the fish with whatever. Okay, I got it. You must be a Litvak, right? Yeah. Time of the So, ask the Gemara. It seems like from the Mishnah that there was a bull that was going after another bull, and the middle bull got out of the way, and he hit the woman. But if he directly was trying to hit the woman, mishalim d'mei v'lados. Why is he potter? Because he didn't intend to hit the woman. But if he intended to hit the woman, then the owner of the bull would have to pay. Here's the case. There's a little bit of a delay here. Boom. Okay. If there's no bull in between, it seems like you're chayiv. This is a contradiction to Ravada Rahava. Don't Ravada Rahava. This it says Mufurish that if a shar had intent to hit a woman directly, potter from paying for the baby. And this is how you could explain the Mishnah. You could see on the side it says a bays. In other words, this is the halach in the Shulchan Aruch, that if the bull had full intent to damage the woman, the owner of the bull is potter. V'hadiktani is halacha mishum sinai. It's a exeris hakasa. V'hadiktani, not halacha mishum. Exeris hakasa. V'hadiktani shar shahayim eskaven l'chaveiroi. So why does it talk about another case where a bull had intent to hit another bull? Aidi the kaboy lemisna seifa. Once again, we had this yesterday. We have this all the time. Classic Gemara, that the Mishnayos were written in a certain pattern. Everything was memorized by heart, and everything had to be easier. That's why there's less words. That's why there's chesuri mechzera. It's not fair that we have Gemaras with nekudas and with art scroll. Listen now, we say, oh, it should have added 3 more words. Well, people had to memorize everything, and it had to go in a certain way, in a certain order. It's easier to remember similar cases that the bull tried to hit another bull and hit the woman. A human being tried to hit another human being and hit the woman. When the human being was trying to hit another, that's how it is in the Torah. That's the case. Look at the pasuk. Anashim, 2 men are fighting. V'nakfum, by mistake, they hit a isha hara, a pregnant woman. That is the case. It's not the case that the man tried to hit the pregnant woman. He was trying to hit his friend, and by mistake he hit the woman. So therefore, that's why it says the exact same case by a bull against the bull, and the bull got out of the way. Stamps, you should, I guess, it's easier to remember like that. The Gemara
it's not like the answer that we done the ratio because of the sefer. If it was a sefer because of the ratio, that makes sense.
Even in patterns of words, I hear Dr. Shkoil that this is rare, that we do the ratio because of the sefer. Usually it's the sefer because of the ratio. Okay, to me it doesn't make a difference, but okay, he brings it over there. Tony ratio nami shoshay miskaven lechaveroi Omar Rav Papa Hanu halacha nu sugya shor shenagach sashivcha. a bull that gores shivcha, v'yatzu yoladea, she lost her pregnancy, mishalem dmei vlados. This is interesting. When a bull gores a Jewish woman, you don't pay. Over here, there's a chumrah on a slave, you do pay. My taima, chamarto ma barto ba'almud azik. Or he damaged a donkey. Domakro, shvu lochem poi im hachamor. Avram Avinu told Yishmael, shvu lochem poi im hachamor. Eliezer, Yishmael, sit over here with the donkey. Sit over here. What's with the donkey? Who cares with the donkey? What's the nafkamina that there's a donkey also? To teach us, Am Hadoim Lechamor. It's a nation similar, Eved, Eliezer, Eved, similar to a donkey. Now, I don't really want to go into. I usually don't touch politics. I learned my lesson. I once said something about Trump for the good, I think, and I got 5 emails. There's Democrats, there's Republicans, so we don't say anything. But covered 2 jokes, be a little politically incorrect. Here goes with a little volume. This is Am Hadoim Lechamor. If you're here in Eretz Yisrael and you live even on this block, unfortunately, right now it's Baruch Hashem very quiet from these Chamorim. Chamorim again is the wrong word. They're much less than a Chamor, but here they are with a little volume. That's an entirely guy if you didn't chap. Okay. Now, that's one politically incorrect thing. But here's another one. You want to see Am Hadoim Lechamor, in my opinion? Okay. I'm not getting involved. What? Half my donor.
Half my donor base are Democrats. We should close down.
Okay, weiter. It's just for the joke. Just for the joke. Chas v'shalom. It happens to be that I saw that the Democrats are prouder with their symbol than the Republicans and the elephant. For some reason, they love. It's a symbol of being stubborn and I don't know what it is. Okay, fine. That was the cover of the joke. You can do whatever. If it's for a joke, you can do whatever. I just want to say, I'm sure Berman told me. I mentioned him yesterday with the goat. I hope nobody told him that I mentioned him about it. He came over to me yesterday and told me that his Rebbe, he wrote a book about Rabbi Twersky, the one that was killed in Har Nof in the shul. It's called the Malach from whatever. I forgot the name of the book. The Malach from Har Nof, whatever. So he told me a word from me. He said, why does the Torah talk about that the nation of slaves are Doim Lechamor punkt by the Akedes Yitzchak? Why by Akedes Yitzchak? So he says because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Ki b'Yitzchak yikar lecha zara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised Avraham Avinu, you're going to have children from Yitzchak. And then all of a sudden HaKadosh Baruch Hu flips and says, you got to do Akedes Yitzchak, you got to kill him. So Avraham Avinu is thinking to himself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, but you know what? He probably meant, let's go with Yishmael. No. Yishmael is Chamor. Don't worry about it. You're not from him. This is Am Hadoim Lechamor. Says the Gemara. Keitzad mishalem dmei vlados. Now this is a sensitive sugya to women, so if you're a woman, turn off the video now. This is, but we explain it. We do away with it. Dmei vlados. A woman who's pregnant, how do you evaluate what she's worth, not worth? As the Gemara, shvach vlados mebayilei. So this is just l'saber sa'ayin to understand what we're talking about. You can see the woman on the right, on the left. She's like faded, very good, faded. The important part of her, she's pregnant. The important part that we're looking at is how much the vlad is worth. How much is the baby worth? That's May Vlados. What is Shvach Vlados, Rabbi Yisrael? What does that mean? Shvach Vlados. Check this out. A little bit of a thing. Literally, she becomes wider. Not heavier, wider, bigger. And on the slave market, that's a siman of a robust woman, of a woman who's strong, who carry packages, who could plow the field. That's a good slave. So her value goes up, especially in those days. Think about it. A skinny woman is garnished. Who needs that? It's a poor woman. One who eats well, a big bone is worth more. So the pregnancy gives her more value. Now, who deserves that? Akash Baruch Hu said that the Vlad, the fetus, goes to the husband. What about the fact that the wife is worth more? Donnie, you're loving this, Donnie. No, come. You know, Avi Factor, come here. Get up. Why would you scream from over there?
And how did he get that pacifier inside of him?
That's a good question. That one, he wants to know, has their pacifier? You know, there's a lot of people that ask kashas on. I showed the video of the dough. Nobody asked it. First of all, the video with the Tesla. Well, your Tesla's not white, it's green. It's kasha gdoila. They don't have kashas in the sugya. They have kashas. Yesterday, somebody asked a bomb kasha. It deserved 3 emails, actually. How's it Chaya that the woman was kneading the dough? Her sleeves were all the way up to here. The Gemara says it's over here. Wow. It's kishma. Okay, good. But as Ribavi Factor, let's do chazara. How in the world did the baby get a blue pacifier? Blue. Even if you if a woman comes with a pacifier, how did it know it's blue? Why not pink? It's a good kasha. It's a very good kasha. Lord, I was thinking on the feet. So the Maisa asked the Gemara, what happened to the value that she has now? Says the Gemara, you're right. You're right. There's 2 components here. There's the value of the baby and there's the value of the woman. You do some sort of evaluation with the baby, with the width. This is not a joke. I don't want to compare this chas v'shalom, but we're talking about slave market. We're not talking about a wife here. We have the same exact sugya about a bull. The bull, the cow that gets pregnant, we said is a nefach. There's 3 components. There's the fact that it gets heavy. Baruch Hashem, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about, you're not going to weigh a woman when you sell her as a slave. But there's a nefach. There's the size, the width. You know what? You could say the joke over here. I went back and forth. We got to say it once in a while. There's a guy under the chuppah. I'm saying another joke. But you don't want it, I'm not going to say it. No, you ruined it. You ruined the punchline. Michael, I'm not saying it. Here's the problem. Okay, I'll say it later. So what's going on here? Reb Shimon Gamliel says a woman is worth. It seems like he's saying a woman is worth less after she gives birth, less when she's pregnant, and she's more when she gives birth. My Kamar, what's going on here? She's worth more after she gives birth. Which reminds me, mamish, of midas daim. One of the worst things they did in daim is that if somebody how do you say it nice? If somebody stopped, if somebody hit a woman and she lost her pregnancy, they would say, since you lost her pregnancy, you, even though she's Eishes, you have to marry her now to make sure that she goes back to the same status she was before, that she's pregnant again. So over here also, a person hits a woman who's pregnant. She loses her pregnancy. Now she's worth more. She should pay you. You just made her go up in value. That doesn't make sense. Ella, now you just view the vlad. Forget about the woman. You're right. A woman who's pregnant is worth less than a woman who's not pregnant. But let's talk about her fetus. How much is that little baby worth? You wait 3 months, that little baby is going to be a nice slave. So how much is that worth? It's worth $200? So you give that $200 to the husband. We learned the same thing. It's word for word we just said. Ella, Shomim Savladis v'noisin labal. Rav Almar. Hachi Gatani. V'chisha, by the way, Rashi just points out that if the woman has damage to her body physically, that's something else. That's something that you split. She definitely gets part of it. How much? It depends. Inner thing, something you could see, not see, fine. Rava Omar Achiktan, V'chisha Lemishi Lezim Shabachas Vein Latzim B'Shevach V'Ladis Klum. Asked Rava. Explain the Reb Shimon Gamliel. What happened to the woman? What? She doesn't deserve some of the increase in value that she brought to the table by being pregnant and wider? Ella Sham Savladis V'Noisim Labal. The Shevach V'Lada, you're right. The Vlad itself goes to the husband, but the Shevach V'Lada is the fact that she's more robust. Chalkim. So Reb Shimon Gamliel says, on that, she does share. So we have to remember that. Reb Shimon Gamliel says she gets part of her value when the husband is alive, not alive, she gets part of her value. Tanami Hachi, Omer Reb Shimon Gamliel V'Chisha Limishi Lez Mishabach Zvein Latzim Shevach V'Ladis Klum. Ella, Shamim, again, word for word, Shamim Nezek B'fnei Atzmei V'Tzar B'fnei Yazir. Over here is a little different. When there's a little bit of a nezek, damage, and there's a little bit of a tsar, that's separate. V'sham savlada is v'nois in labal. The value of the baby goes to the husband. V'shevach v'lada is cholkim. Stop right over here. The value that she brings to the table, says Mefurish in this brayso, according to Reuven Leo, cholkim. In other words, a woman who's pregnant is worth more or less than a woman that's not pregnant. Shevach v'lada is. The value that she increased when she's pregnant, cholkim. In other words, a woman who's pregnant is worth more. What did we say a second ago, according to Reb Shimon Gamliel? A woman who's pregnant is worth less. That's a contradiction. Kasha Reb Shimon Gamliel, loy kasha. Kambe mevakeres. When it's the first time that she's giving birth, that's the most dangerous one. So she's worth, right before, the guy goes to the slave market. Is this your first child or your 10th? First, oive, I'm staying away from you. You have a very high risk of death at childbirth. I'm not buying you. So her value goes down. That's what Reb Shimon Gamliel is talking about. Reb Shimon Gamliel is saying that she goes up in value. It's the second, third time. And I think it's important to point out that in those days, people used to die during childbirth. It was crazy. I looked on Google. It says that in America, from 100,000 women that give birth, only 17 die. It's kind of a high number. Some countries even less. 3. Imagine 100,000 women in those days. 100,000, you have to say at least 1,000 would die. 5,000, I don't know. It's a huge number. We live in a generation that we don't even chap. We have water in our houses. We don't have to clean water. Hot water. Cars. No mud in the streets. Unbelievable. Yeah, but I said already. The Rashi points out that it does go. Depends. Fakert, he gets 2/3 and this. Yeah. Depends. 2/3 or 50-50. She gets at least one portion. Okay. I'm sure everything we'll see a different time. Says the Gemara. According to the Rabbanan, say that everything, her increase in value goes all to the husband. My taima, where did they get it from? Kidisnan. Because it says in the pasuk, check out the pasuk. They hit a woman who's pregnant, and then it says a second later, how does a woman have children without being pregnant? So the word hara is extra. It should say she had children. The extra word is extra. That all goes to husband. Hi hara, my darsh. What does he do with the word hara? He has another. When a man hits a woman, if he steps on her toe, and because of that she loses her pregnancy, he's potter. It has to be he hits her in the stomach. My mother, Aleh Shalom, I saw this in my own eye. We lived in Farakwe, and a guy stole my bike. And we lived in a really bad building. Today, the whole building is on Central Avenue. The whole building is from. We live next to Dov Shuren. You guys, I don't know if you remember Dov Shuren. He lives in Eretz. He was in our building. I was walking with my mother, and she sees this guy, I'm not going to say, a guy on my bike. She walks over and she says, "Get off my son's bike." So the guy turns to her and punches her right in her pregnant stomach. Anyway. Weiter. Omar Papa. Loy Teima. No, that's one of my best siblings. The smartest and the best. Baruch Hashem, nothing happened. I got my bike back. Omar Papa. So he explains to him, it doesn't mean it has to be in the stomach. It means that anything that gives heat to the vlad helps the vlad. There's only 2 parts of the body, the extremities. If you hit a woman over here, it has no effect on the vlad. but you hit her in the neck, in the head, that will have, in the back, everything besides the hands and the feet. So it's a big chiddush. Hitting a woman, stepping on her toe, that causes her to lose her pregnancy, you're potter. Why? Because it says the word hara. It comes from, you have to hit her in a pregnant place. Potter. So listen to this real quickly. If there's a ger, he has no yarshim and he dies, you're allowed to go and take everything that he owns. So let's say you owe a ger $1,000 and the ger dies, what happens? You get to keep your $1,000. Same thing over here, says the Gemara. You went and you destroyed the ger's wife's pregnancy. So now you owe the ger $1,000. The ger passes away. You don't owe anybody $1,000. You potter. Chaya ger is alive. Then he dies. The kivin the chava baby Chaya ger, since he did it and the ger, you owe the ger money. Zachu ger. The kivin the meis, since he dies, kivin the meis ger. Zachu min ger. Now you were able to get it from the hefker. Aval chava balachar misager zachli ibigavayu. Rabbi said, listen to this. This makes a lot of sense. Now think for a second how you could say that it doesn't make sense. Says the Gemara over here that if the ger wasn't alive when this damage happened, so who gets the value of the baby? The mother. It's either the husband or the mother. How can you say something against this? Says the Gemara, so you have to pay her. What in the world is going on here? The master of this saying, how could it be? You're going to treat a baby like a sack of money. So he gets the money, he's not around, she gets the money. It doesn't work like that. The Torah gave him a gift. If he's not around, the mazik is potter completely. She doesn't get anything. You hear this? She doesn't get anything. So what do we do? It says, you hit the woman, you give the tsar to her, the nezik to her, and the mevlad is to the husband. Ein abal. If there's no husband, you give it to his inheritors. Ein isha means she's divorced. The nezek goes to the yarshim, but the mevlad still goes to the husband. But what if she was a giyaris? She was married to a ger, in other words. Zcha. What does zcha mean? The mazik, the one who causes the damage, doesn't have to pay at all. Now this is a bam kasha and rabba. Why? Because if the guy is not alive anymore, the ger is not alive anymore, why should the mazik not have to pay? You just said that if the ger is not alive, the woman gets all the money. Over here it says he doesn't get any, she doesn't get anything. It says Gemara, who told he's talking about that the ger died? We're talking about a case that the ger was alive when it happened. The ger was alive, and then he died. So therefore, the mazik doesn't have to pay. It's talking about after the ger died. Utni zachsa. Okay. Utni zachsa. We just turned the daf, and we had the turning of the daf for a month was sponsored by Chaneh Auerbach. And we have Chaneh Auerbach's father in the back corner next to Robert Early. Shkoch for coming. Okay, so usually Tni Zachsa would mean that we have to read it differently. It says Taisus, one line over here, beautiful Taisus. Utni Zachsa, ve'ein magia braisa. You don't have to change the wording. The wording is going to remain Zacha. Wow, okay. Jonathan Stefansky, I just sponsored the turning of today's daf to thank everyone who set up Sief 46. Get your tax deductions before end of 2023. Yishkoyach Jonathan, another man who always steps it up, comes forward, steps up to the plate. Yishkoyach Jonathan.
We have about 10 days. Let's go.
We only have 10 days to the end of the year. That's what you're saying. I'm not even holding. There's 10 days left to the year. Sief 46. You hear what Taisa is saying? You read the word the way it was, Zacha. Zacha means depends on the situation. If he died, if the damage happened before the ger died, then you're zoichen it. You're the mazik, you don't have to pay anybody. But if the damage happened after, then she gets it. That's why it says the word zacha. We're not changing it. We're not changing zachsa. It's actually referring to two cases. And therefore it says zacha. Depending on the person, depending on the situation, they'll have a zchus. But Perhaps what we just said, this machlekes Rabbi and Chisda is a machlekes Tanoim. We'll see what the machlekes is. Bas Yisrael shenitzes leger b'nesav b'meno v'chova b'chaya ger. A Jewish woman who's married to a ger, and she got pregnant from him, and while he was alive, somebody caused the damage. She lost her pregnancy. Noising the made this lager, you have to pay the ger. However, la'achar misas ger, if the damage happened after the ger died, over here that's exactly our case, and we see this in machlekes. Tani chada chayav like Rabba. But Tani Chada Potter, like Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda says, you don't have to pay anyone. It's a zchus the Torah gave the husband, it's not money. It's a special halacha. My lav Tanoi. L'chayr is machlekes Tanoi. L'Rabba says the Gemara Vadi Tanoi. Rabba says, how could somebody say Potter? I say you give it to the woman. Potter would definitely mean the machlekes Tanoi. El Rav Chisda milei Tanoi. Perhaps everybody holds like Rav Chisda that what? You're Potter to give the woman. But that's on the value of the Vlad. We're talking about something else. We're talking about the value that she brings to the table. She got wider. Huh? So now, that's exactly the machlokes. Rabbanon, that the entire value, loikashi, Rabbanon, the entire value that the woman brings to the table, her width, goes to the husband. If there's no husband, what happens to it? It goes to her. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said always that she always shares in that profit. 50-50. Says the Gemara, but if it's Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, so why do you have to wait until he dies? She deserves half anyway. Says the Gemara, yeah, very good. You're right, she gets 50. After he dies, she gets the 100%. The entire thing, Rav Chisda, in other words, who says that once the damage happens after the ger is dead, you get nothing. It goes according to Reb Shimon Gamliel that the shvach of herself, she gets 50% while he's alive. Kam b'shvach v'lados, kam b'dmei v'lados, and then we're going to be mechalik that in the shvach, the actual vlad, the fetus, that the kam b'shvach v'lados, kam b'dmei v'lados. B'shvach v'lados means her shvach, her body. So you'd be chayiv. The feast itself, that you're potter. Ask the Gemara, aren't they the same? We had in the same thing. Here. Where are they? We have dmei v'lados, shvach v'lados. What's the difference? What do you call it? There's two damages. And if you're saying that she gets the shvach vlad, so she should get the dmei vlad, why are you separating it? And if Reb Shimon Gamliel says she gets 50 and it goes to 100, so according to Rabbanon that she gets 0, give her after her husband dies, give her the whole thing. What's the difference? Says Gemara, no, huge difference. Amri. Loi. Shvach v'lada is the shaycha yod begavayu. The Gemara is saying beautiful. When she was alive, she was entitled to 50%. Zachya b'bekulu. Rabbi, I think this is, to understand it even better, you could use the mashal, the famous thing that the Chofetz Chaim says, which we speak about all the time, right? People say, Daf Yomi, you don't remember anything, this, that. But the unbelievable Chofetz Chaim that brings, that anything you learn in this world, you're going to learn in Olam Emes. So if you learn Baba Kama, all through, from beginning to end, so let's say you don't understand 100%. Let's say you learned the B'kiyazdik, you're going to learn it Be'ion, with all the Rishonim and all the Pshatim, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to tell you the Pshat, the whole thing. If you didn't learn Baba Kama, you only learned Daf Beis and Daf Gimel in Yeshiva. So that's it. You get to learn Daf Beis and Gimel for trillions of years. Same thing over here. If you have a yad in it, you have a yad, you're part of it, then you're entitled to the rest. She earned 50% when the husband was alive. Okay, so we'll give her 100% when he's dead. But when she has 0, the Dmei Vlad, she had 0 when the husband was alive. So when he dies, she gets a big fat 0. When she never had anything when he was alive, brand new sugi. Now, there's a ger, and people owe him money. So they go, he dies. You're allowed to grab whatever you want. So he has this unbelievable building downtown Manhattan, worth $25 million. The guy goes and grabs the document that says that he's owed this building. Does it have value or not? No, it's just a document. Why did he grab that document? Because he wants to get the building. He doesn't care about the document. The document has no value to him at all. Uba'aro, but unfortunately, he won't get the building. Why? He didn't make a chazak on it. So the Jew that ran downtown, got on a plane, ran downtown, knew it's owned by a ger, and he locks the front door. It's his building now. The guy that holds the document, zero. But listen to this unbelievable question. It seems like mundane. It seems like, but what about the document itself? What about the piece of paper? Is it his? Or what if I grab it? It was made out of parchment. I need the piece of paper. I grab it away from him. He never made a kinyan in it. Why? Because his mind was on a building in Manhattan. He never had in mind, let me be kind of this piece of paper. He wants a piece of paper for the building. And maybe perhaps the star is not his. The lav daite star. He never had intent to be kind. You have to have intent. Or dilma daite nave star. What? Yeah, okay. A document that shows that this is. I said it's a. They owe it him. Fine, whatever it is. They owe him a building. Omalei ani moiri. So Rav Nachman tells him back. No, what do you say? So we have a picture. This is what David Canner did. Beautiful. Does he need it? What? What's the big deal with this piece of paper? He needs it to cover something. Yeah, that's the whole need over here. Is it his? Is it Reuven? Reuven grabbed his document. Did he have enough intent to be kind of the document so that he can use it to cover something? The ger lent money to a Jew. And the Jew said, you know what, here, it's a nice loan, take my Tesla as collateral. Umeis ger, and the ger dies. So the Jew, another Jew grabs the Tesla. Why does he want the Tesla? He says, if I have the Tesla, now the Jew that owes money to the ger will have to pay me. In other words, a way to take the money, not the Tesla, to take the money. He has to give up the Tesla. My timer, keeping the misli ger, since the ger died, so now the guy that gave the Tesla that owes money to the ger no longer owes money to the ger because the ger is dead. So if he doesn't owe money to the ger, the Tesla has to go back to him. Nobody has the right to grab the Tesla. My time, keeping the misli ger. What about the opposite? The ger gave a Tesla to the Jew. That's how we learned. Because it's the Jew's Tesla. It's the Jew's Tesla. No, it's when I give you a mashkin, it's mine. You can't take my mashkin. Who owns the Tesla? Who's on the title of the Tesla? The Jew. When it's the reverse. The ger gives his Tesla to the Jew. Umeisa ger. In other words, the ger owed money to the Jew. Now comes the Jew and says, listen, the Tesla's not even yours. It was just collateral. I'm grabbing the Tesla. He takes it. He drives away with it. He's right. He has a taina. It is the ger's Tesla, but the ger owes money to the Jew. So sell the Tesla, pay off the loan, and you get the rest of the Tesla. There's something called kinyan chatzer. Where was this parked? It was parked. So there's a beautiful story. I said this a few times, but I got to say it again. Ma'aseh Chaya, on Shemitah year, you have to give your wine to Hefker. The guy had a bunch of cases of wine. So he was lazy. He didn't want to put it out in the street. He said, my entire apartment is Hefker. Whoever wants to put it out on WhatsApp. Comes a shlemiel and says, I heard your apartment is Hefker. I'm kind of your apartment. And he's serious. I need an apartment for my kid. You said it's Hefker. You said it in front of Adam. Too bad. No, you couldn't convince the guy. So they went to Bezdin. And the Bezdin said, yeah, you're right, it's Hefker. But the downstairs neighbor was kind of the apartment Bekinyan Chatzer. And Mendel is the downstairs neighbor. So you're out of the picture anyways. And don't worry, they were best friends. The neighbors downstairs, of course I'm not taking your apartment because you said halachically, give it back. But over here, asked the Gemara, the Chatzer's backyard should be kind of. He doesn't know about it. The Amar Rabbi Yosef didn't know that Gerrit died. The Rabbi Yosef Barchanina, Chatzer Shalom kind of like Shalom Medaita. A Chatzer is kind of without the das. Rabbi Yosef, I forgot to mention, these dapim are enormous. Just to read them, it reminds me of brachas. The amount of words in these dapim, forget about the sugyas. Everything's taking longer. Says the Gemara, Amri Hachab Maiskinon the Lessay, the Malva who wants to be kinda with the Kinyan Chatzer, his backyard, it should be kinda for him, like in this picture over here. He's gone. He's in Chutz La'aretz. He's in a different country. So and therefore, when he's there, if he wants to be kaina mikni matzikani, he could be kaina. If he's there, therefore his chatzor will work for him because he's there. The Gemara had to have him in. Since he's not there, if he wants to be kaina loy matzikani, he can't. So then his chatzor doesn't work. The bottom line says the Gemara v'hilchasa, and that's how we pass in the lesson b'chatzerei. Since the loy kana. It's not true, says the Gemara. You do not have to be there. You don't have to be there in order to be kaina. You can be in a different country. But what you do need is that the mashkin should be there. And if the mashkin is not in your chatzor, you're not going to be kaina b'chatzor. We got to do two more minutes. Says that the Mishnah is sponsored by Moshe Cohen, l'schus parnasa, and ruchnis. Ha'chofer bar b'shus hayochid u'pischoi l'shus harabim. We have a beautiful diagram here to explain what's going on here. The guy, you see what happened there? The guy dug a Hamas tunnel, terror tunnel. He started in the Rosh Hashanah, but most of the digging was in the Rosh Hashanah. This is a bar in Rosh Hashanah. I don't care where the tunnel goes on an angle and it goes this way, that way to Rosh Hashanah. The bottom line is, where do you fall in? In Rosh Hashanah. Chayiv. Again, the opposite. The entrance is in the Rosh Hashanah and it goes under the Rosh Hashanah. So l'chayr, this should be potter. But we're talking about a case that he was mafkir his rishus around it in the rishus hayachid. Therefore, he's chayiv. Rishus hayachid or pischei rishus hayachid. Here's another case, Rabbi Isai. He started in one house, in his house. He owns the house next door. But the bottom line is, pischei rishus hayachid acher chayiv. Again, he was mafkir everything. So now you have a bar in the rishus harabim. It's his own bar in the rishus harabim. Says the Gemara, let's just do a couple lines here. In other words, the whole is in Rosh Hashanah. Chayiv is a bar omer b'Torah divrei Rishmal. Says Rishmal that the bar is in Rosh Hashanah. That's what the Torah is talking about. Rabbi Kiva Omer Hifki Rishus, no, the bar is in his Rishus in Rosh Hashanah. If he still owns the bar, so it's a Rosh Hashanah bar, that's what the Torah is talking about. So we have a machlokes here. Is the bar in the Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah? I just want to show you this, that there's three types of bars. Everything is in his Rishus, then you have no right to be in my Rishus. You fell in a bar in my property, I don't owe you anything. If I was mafkir everything, the bar in my Rishus, then it's a bar Rishus Harabim, then you're 100% chayiv. But what if everything around the bar I was mafkir, but the bar itself is mine? That's a machlokes. So explains Rabbi, bar b'shus Harabim kulam loy pligedim chayiv, you're chayiv. My time omer kroki yiftach v'chi yichra. As you see in the pasuk over here, it says you opened up a manhole. I just learned last night that in Hebrew manhole is menhol. Menhol. Manhole. Okay, fine. If you just open up a menhole, you're chayiv. And if you dig a pit, you're chayiv. Of course, if you open up a pit, you're chayiv. So certainly if you created one in the middle of a very busy street, of course you're chayiv. Im psicha chayiv, akriya loy kolchkin. Ela shal iske psicha val iske kriya baloi. He says no, even if it's not in Rishus at all, it's not in Rishus hayachid. But because you created a bar, you're chayiv lenechligu el bar b'shusai. The machlokes is when he owns the bar, Rabbi Kiva saw a bar b'shusay nami chayiv. You know what? We'll do it again tomorrow. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. Hold on, let's do Shem Alois. Shem Alois. Soy nai lorim ayu yavo yezri. Ezri mi madino yisei shema yimoretz. Ayitin amud arglecha yinum shem recha. Yinei lo yinum v'lo yishon shemei Yisrael. Adino shem recha adino zchusim adiminecha. Yom Hashem shlo yakeko b'yireach v'leilo. Adino yishmachom mikol yishmor es nafshecha. Adino yishmor es yitzcho v'yecha v'yato v'yadilom. Achenu kol beis Yisrael anesunu mitzor v'shivyo. Hoim dem bein bayom u'bein bayabosha. Amokim rachim aleim tzimitzor levachu ma'afel lo'ir. V'shivu legeula. Hashtav b'golem zman korev. V'ma aromein.